What is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, class swing traders? Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Hope you guys are feeling good. Yesterday was wild, wild, but we live to see another day. We got Albert in the house. Good morning to you. Got Bill. Good morning to you. Cheryl, Chris, Corey, Diane. Good morning to Frank, Joe, Carl, Lauren. We got Marius, Martina, Mike, Peters in the house. Good morning to all my people out in YouTube land. All my people not commenting in YouTube land. It's okay. I still love you. Hit that like and subscribe button. Let me know if you see any tickers that you would like to take a look at. But let's start with Jerome Powell. We'll start with Jerome Powell. We got a lot. We got a lot to talk about today. Ay, ay, ay. For the most part, beginning of the day, pretty maintained, pretty quiet. We did start to rally, I think somewhere right around 12-ish, right after I got off the mic. We started to have a little bit of a bullish push into Jerome Powell. Market started getting a little crazy. And then the question was, where are we sitting at? Where does the Fed see us in the future? Where are we looking at? So they come out with a 50-point rate hike. They kind of cave to the Fed futures rate. I don't know if that's good for the market. Today we're up. We'll get to that. And then there was obviously we talked about how kind of the market moves based on the numbers, comes back, retrace it, like everything was playing out pretty well to what we thought. The 50-point cut, if you listen to his questions, there was one question in particular that he got asked, do you think that you're doing a 50-point rate cut because of politics? Is politics really playing into any of this? Why are you cutting now? 50 points, which is a historically a massive move. Even throughout the 90s when we were doing rate cuts, we didn't have a single 50-point rate cut. So it's a little bit bizarre. Even into Friday, we were like, okay, yeah, 25 point cut. We get it. Okay, makes sense. And he comes in with 50. The one question, if it had anything to do with politics, his response was, it's not political. Okay. You could say that. That's fine. But the following sentence to that was, we're going to do what we think the market needs. So if you're trying to understand that comment, and then you're just looking back at what the rate cut was a 50-point basis cut. To me, that almost signifies he's looking at something that he's like, the market needs a half-point cut. And that to me kind of puts us in like, I think that is almost pushing to recession in 3 to 6 months. Obviously, we don't feel it today. The market's gapping up. I am going more cautious. I am on the wrong side right now. And kind of, but not really. I have protection that I took out yesterday after he made the comment. So I did buy some puts. It was somewhere around this time frame. It was roughly like 563. Close the day. I was slightly positive on those SPY puts. I did give myself a decent amount of time, so I gave it to January. My thought process is, I would say the economy, the market. Yeah, the market is going to be different. I'm not saying who. I don't know if it matters. I don't know if it matters who the president is, Kamala or Trump, or maybe someone's writing in somebody. I don't know. It doesn't matter. I don't think, because keep in mind, in January was when the new president, whoever that might be, takes over. You're still dealing with, if you get into, if Mike, if they put you as president day one, you have a lot to put out in terms of new policies, trying to correct things, trying to work on job markets, trying to do XYZ. That's all going to take time, and there's going to be that delay. I think that it was probably a good move for Jerome Powell to put out the 50-point rate hike in case we do have some kind of recession or some kind of anything that does kind of occur. But he can now say, like, no, I'm not. I wasn't too far behind. That's why we did a 50-point cut. So you can't really blame me. All right. So I think in some way it doesn't matter who the president is, but I think that it kind of confirms to me from Jerome Powell that we probably have I think he's looking at numbers going, we probably have a recession in 3 to 6 months. That's where I would throw that ball to. Maybe I'm dead wrong. If I'm dead wrong, I'll switch gears real quick. But I did not like the 50 points coming out of the gate that quickly. So we'll see. Today, obviously, you're getting some kind of gap up. The puts that I got is in January, so it's like 555 on the SPY. So it's not too far off from where I got in. It's not that crazy. I could hedge any puts that I have. So I'm not too concerned. Even if it goes to absolute zero, it's not a huge position. But that brings us to today, where we have overnight rally from Japan, overnight rally from China, everything overseas kind of rallying. Not sure if it's 100% because I think maybe our rate cut has a little bit to do with it, but I don't know if it's specifically because of that. Because again, they're up. I think China's up 3%. Japan was up 2.4%. We actually had the rate cut and we ended up down. So I don't know, maybe digestion. Looking at this chart, it looks pretty bullish. I would love to see how this candle closes for today before I make any crazy moves in terms of like, okay, market wants to, and keep in mind, the market can do what the market does. It doesn't have to move just because I have a theory that we probably see a decent pullback in the near future. Doesn't mean that we see a recession. The market could just stay out of its mind and just keep on buying. So the trend right now is bullish. This is a gap and go. I think there's probably a lot of people like me, and maybe they went a lot heavier on their positions. Mine was more of an insurance policy. I was taking out some insurance on the long-term portfolio. So long term's up. Even with this gap, I'm still probably net long more than anything. In fact, honestly, I'm still net long because of the long term. So I'm not too concerned with the gap up. I just don't know if I trust this gap. So let's get into day trading real quick. Bull, we have a bullish gap and go. We did have a big run up into this. The market is up pretty decent today. So now the question is, how much more are we going today? I don't know. I wish I had that crystal ball. I have no clue how much further we could possibly go today, but I have my theory in the back of my mind, and I would love to see if this ends up turning into some kind of a retest gap. If we end up coming through, we have some kind of a big bearish engulfing candle. I think that would be our signal. So I'm cautious up here, to be honest. And you know me, I'm pretty bullish in the markets. I'm looking at charts. I'm like, yeah, no, I think we're pretty bullish. I have my retest spot down here though, so maybe we could come down, retest. I don't really have support if we do pull back. I don't have support till about 563.59. So we'll see. We'll see if we get a retest in here. Otherwise, it is setting up as a gap and go, but there's a lot of buying into it. The only problem with a lot of buying is some of that gets negated because there's also a lot of volume on yesterday's candle, obviously because of Jerome Powell, and we did throw in a little reversal candle, and I think we probably have a lot of shorts trapped on this one, so they might have to try to exit out of the position. If I think we get that bigger reversal candle, if let's say it comes in, I have no idea, but I think we probably get some pop from some shorts covering, and then I think we have to look at either the later part of the day for that reversal or even into tomorrow. So I don't think shorting is going to be easy. That's kind of why I gave it an extended amount of time on those puts just in case. But we'll see kind of how the rest of this day wants to play out. So it's going to be very curious to see. Keep in mind, down here on this gap, it's the opposite of where we're at now, right? We were selling, big old gap down. We did have some volume come in, and then we rallied from there. So if we see any type of candle like this, and we can say, all right, maybe there's a little capitulation, maybe that still kind of proves it, the whole theory to be true sooner. And then also, why I would like to give everything more time in a bigger rolled out period, we don't have to go down today. We could absolutely rip for the next 2 weeks. I have zero idea, especially with the election kind of coming up, and we usually do run bullish into elections. The thought process would be probably after elections is when more predominantly we have a better shot to kind of sell off and roll down. So we still have some news coming out with especially the political space where we can remain bullish. We do have a lot of earnings coming out. Believe it or not, earnings season's right around the corner. So we'll see. Obviously gapping into all-time highs, and I don't does not give me much targets to the higher side. I can't say there's much resistance because there's none. But if we do pull back, at least we got some kind of support sitting somewhere around 563.59, and we'll see how that one wants to play out. We got the Qs. Bitcoin, Insight Jose is asking for Bitcoin. Bitcoin, we'll get to that one next, actually. Qs, same thing, gap up, great location. If we could open up, which we so far are, but if we were opening up about 481.56 or higher, I think we have room to push. Next resistance though, so that would take me to 483.49. Anything past that, I think we could have a much bigger move. Whether that comes today or plays out a little bit later, but that would take us up to 495.46. So Qs has a lot of room. SPY, no resistance above us. I'm probably going to look to trade. I don't know. I don't know. I'll go bullish or bearish today. I'll go bullish bearish. I'd probably be a little bit more bullish out of the gate for most things. Bitcoin. So anything in crypto space, the lower interest rates I think are good for crypto. I was saying that this week, last week. I've been saying that if we could start getting some of these lower interest rates, I think that is good for the crypto space because again, if you're sitting right now, or the last 3 months getting 5.3% on treasuries, one of the safest assets in the world to have, and you're getting a really good return on those for really no risk, fine. Right? You're gonna be like, okay, I'll just park some cash in that. As these rates come down, and Jerome Powell is kind of saying more rate cuts this year. But as these rates start to come down, you're not getting any money on the capital sitting in treasuries or money market accounts. And then it makes it a little bit more worth it to put your money at risk or to borrow money, take out loans, things like that. So all the loans, car loans, auto loans, housing, should get cheaper mortgages. But crypto, I think, is a spot where I could be bullish on crypto going forward, just as these rates are coming down. So I do like it. Nice little pop on that one. We could also look at Coinbase too, see if that one's kind of moving a little bit. But resistance for today, 64, 167. But I think this overall kind of market change is good for the crypto space. The other thing is anything real estate wise. So if you own homes, if you are if you have investment properties, I think the lower mortgage rates will actually drive those prices higher. So I don't think we're done with the increased valuation of housing quite yet. But those are some specific areas. And then any companies that have a lot of debt, you guys know I've been buying some was it WBD for a while. Just same thing as GEO. I was buying GEO before, like I don't know, cheap $6, $7, wherever the price was, $9. I think it was closer, probably like 6, 7. But I've been buying that same thing. They have a lot of debt. I think they could work their debt down. The company value goes up. WBD has a tremendous amount of debt from kind of that T-Mobile restructuring deal, or what was it, AT&T? One of those. So lots of debt for both those guys. If rates come down, and it's not exclusive to those two companies, but if rates come down, you can restructure some of those current loans that you have, and then all of a sudden, ta-da, you got some more money. So, but yeah, I would still remain bullish on crypto. Looks good. I think we got a little bit more room to go bullish even for today. We'll see. Jeff says, when I wake up to a market like this, all I can think is, now what? I'm with you. It's like it's tough to be a bear. Tough to be a bear. But a lot of times, what we think is if you have a theory, fantastic. And you could be sitting there going, he's an idiot. You're completely wrong. I have a completely different theory than he's got, and I support you 100%. And I'm like, you might even be right. Who knows? But when we're trading, day trading, swing trading, we're looking at trends, we're looking at kind of momentum, and both our theories, whatever it might be, could actually play out, and it just might not be in the same time frame that we would expect it to. So keep that in mind. The market is on a little delay. It's like that 7 second delay. We got that Amazon. Nice little gap on this one. We got some room. I guess next target would take us to about 191, 92. We're still in this candle. This is the kind of bearish engulfing candle. We have not broken that yet. So I would like to see this one for a bigger rip. Start to break this 190.70 zone. A couple high wave indecision candles from yesterday. The trend, the breakout has been bullish. All of those are inside of this one. I think this one probably acts as a retest, especially since we have a little bit of, I guess the target maybe could take us to 192, let's say. Gives us about $2 to the higher side. Not bad risk to reward, I guess. I think the better spot, see if this one does want to pull back, just because I think those are almost insignificant candles. If you were sitting in here, you're not really worried too much about any of those candles that came in. And now you might have the opportunity to actually lock some gains in. So I'd see if this one wants to pull back first, but I do like it bullish. I do like it to the bull side. Right. It says, why would he admit it was political? No, yeah, he's not going to admit it. If he came out and said, "Yeah, no, my move is 100% political," you would see a different Fed chairman today for sure. Tessie, I was looking at this one pre-market, also looks kind of interesting. I do have immediate targets on this one. We have not got there yet, but 239, so that's not too far away, which kind of stinks. The bigger target on this one, I think at least takes us to 247.83. Again, I said this one yesterday too. Tessie in lower interest environments will be in a better position. We also had China rally yesterday pretty hard. I think that would actually be good for Tesla too. But still inside candle from yesterday. Maybe we get this retest if you're looking to buy. See if it. I guess your first big support on this one is 231.53. Maybe that's the big pullback for today on Tessie. Otherwise, look for like 230.22 would give you a really good entry on it. But there is targets higher. I like this opening location a lot. I do think, and I got it pretty high on the list for bullish for to play it today. So we'll see if we'll see how this one wants to open, and I'm gonna look for spots to probably try to buy. Mike says it's also full moon 9/17. Oh, okay. So Mark, is it gonna change again? Or actually, no, 9/17 happened already. Where's it today? Hold on, what's today's date? Oh yeah, today's the 19th. So it already, oh yeah, it was 2 days ago. Somehow I didn't turn into a werewolf though. That's that's kind of weird. I don't know. Maybe I was inside most of the time. The moon didn't get to me. Google, let's do the one with the L. Google, nice gap again. We do have some moving averages right above us. I was running through this list pretty hard today. And a lot of these things, again, great gap. If you're already in Google, fantastic. You're going to have resistance at 165.37 if you could break through some of those moving averages. I do think we did, well, obviously we got bought up into this. This is probably a fade opportunity, a retracement. But longer term, not bad. If we could get some kind of a pullback, especially into like this 159, 160 zone, I think we could actually probably set up for a swing trade. But we do have a decent amount of resistance. Anything past probably 167.74, which we're still a ways away from. But if we get up to that spot breakthrough, then I think we're looking for some of those gap fills actually, probably to 183-ish. Did anyone see the harvest full moon lunar eclipse on the 17th? I did not. No. Uh-uh. I didn't even know it was happening. Nobody told me. The last thing I saw was the last big thing with the reason I had to tilt my head up was probably because of that solar eclipse thing. And then I had to buy glasses at the last second, and they were all sold out. It was then I burned my retinas out of my eyeballs. It was crazy. I don't know, but yeah, that was like the last. That's the last big thing, I guess, for me. I don't know, but I didn't see anything. You guys got to understand. I'm pretty tall. I'm pretty tall. So most of my life, I'm just walking around looking down. So for me to look up at anything is it's difficult. I forget there's a sky sometimes. It's crazy. Microsoft. And I know you guys got a lot of tickers. I don't think we're gonna probably hit all of them today, unfortunately. But everything is kind of moving. We got Microsoft, so that's up. That is a gap and go, still inside of 2 days ago candle, and still kind of facing this resistance. Again, maybe we get a pullback, and the real pullback spot would be 434.80. Otherwise, give me something small little fade first. It could get held up at 437. Might be an interesting spot to buy. Next big target up, I think, for today, big resistance 444.44, all fours. And then anything past that, next target at least would take us to like 448. So it's got some room on it, but again, yeah, give me at least a tiny pullback on some of these things. The market is going crazy. Airbnb. mm, I guess we don't really need those lines anymore. Uh, I would think this one would have to retest as well. First target. I think we could probably break this target. I don't think this is a huge one, but first target would be 128.16. Otherwise, I think if we could get some kind of a pullback, maybe that's into 124.60. We got to break through that 50 EMA again. And again, maybe these things open and just run like crazy. It's the rest of the market's at all-time highs. The one thing I do like on this one is that it's not at all-time highs. At least we're well off it. Even for a long-term position, I still like this range to be buying Airbnb. I loved it a lot more down here, and I just didn't have the opportunity to do it. But Dell's been a little tricky. We did try that one yesterday, and now I think today we finally get the reaction that we were looking for yesterday. A little bit of a better gap and go. Again, target from yesterday was somewhere around 120.91. We're getting closer to that. I think this one does have a little more room to about 119.05. And then on a really, really good day, probably 127.42. So I still like it to the upside again. I was looking for that move yesterday. Did not happen. Today, a little bit better of a gap and go. And then maybe we get some kind of a pullback though. I think I'm setting up more of a swing right now with just me moving these lines. But uh better location would be by somewhere around 117.72. So I'd still probably need a pullback to just for risk reward. Otherwise, it is a gap and go. Out of the gate, again, if we get any kind of high wave candles on these ones that I do want some kind of a pullback, if we could get a little bit of a high wave candle, a little bit of selling, we don't just ring the bell and everybody just buys everything with FOMO. Um, I might not need some of these bigger pullbacks that I'm looking for, but I'd probably be looking for like a 1.2 in some of those cases, most of those cases. Looking for like quick trap some bears, ride the ride, and then get out. UPS. UPS looks pretty good. Still the resistance not too far away. Give me a little pullback again. We'll see. Maybe we could take a pre-market break. But I like the setup a lot. That's a great gap. I don't like the target on this one. Would take me to about 134.63. Obviously, maybe we could break through it and make more. I'd have to watch that one. Square's another one. Square I was looking at. That UPS gap kind of reminds me a little bit of that, but this is the same thing. So really, really good gap. I'd still almost want some kind of a pullback. First resistance on this one takes me to about 69.10. So it's dwindling on opportunities to really make money in the long direction, at least immediately out of the gate. But any pullback to like 68.17, I can vibe with. Nvidia. Nvidia's I think they're gapping, but I don't know how much. Uh Still a tight range on Nvidia. Tight range, but I wouldn't mind trying bullish with the with the rest of the market. All right, so maybe we're looking at like 119.12 for targets. That's $2 to the higher side if everything goes crazy. Nvidia's a part of that. 119.62 is a big one. And then if we could break through that, you got 125.88, which would be a phenomenal trade. Good resistance. Still slightly inside day. So again, I kind of want to be patient for the first 3 minutes. I know that's almost impossible for me to do, but I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try really hard. We'll see what happens. It's gonna be wild. Am I taller than Jeremy? I think I am. Yeah. And if I'm not, I'm still gonna say I am. So it doesn't really matter. But I think we did the first time I met Jeremy face to face. We did that back to back test thing, and I was told I'm taller. I don't know, but he was in heels too. To be fair, so I don't really don't know his real height. Then tough. Affirm. Got 2 minutes left. It was a wild night. Wild night. Uh-huh. We got Affirm. Nice gap on Affirm. Decent amount of room. We're opening into one little resistance. Not sure how much that's going to matter or affect anything. Otherwise, yeah, I think we have 48.79. Affirm is another. I don't know. I was going to say phenomenal company, but I don't even want to put that in the same thing. I don't know if I really. I don't know if I love Affirm as a company specifically, but it is a phenomenal company for lower interest rates. Lower interest rates that buy now, pay never. Seems even better at that point. You're like, Zillow Group. Zillow's another one. Yep. Zillow, Redfin. But the biggest problems with all these for me, and I know I'm looking at these things the wrong way. I'm looking at them as long-term investments, and I just can't buy long-term investments for Zillow up here after this thing's run $39, almost 100%. But that being said, lower interest rates, good for Redfin, good for Zillow. Otherwise, everybody on YouTube land, if you have not done so already, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. But that's the morning bell. So unfortunately, at this point, I gotta cut ties. But be safe out there. We got one more day after today, and we'll see.